Hello. Happy Monday. What's up, y'all? That's from India Arie, of course. My true love. Look, we are back with our relationship series. I am Lady Wake. I have my brother Leo here with me. My honored guest. Thank you for being here, Leo. Last week, man, we went hard last week. There was a lot. There's so much to cover. So some of these things we'll break down as we go along. But last week we talked about so much. We talked about why you keep getting into bad relationships, and this is officially part two because he left us with a cliffhanger. So we talked about not having healthy examples. We talked about not loving ourselves. We talked about not getting over the past. We talked about a lot, and we talked about, of course, um, society's set up for failure and everything that is inauthentic. And so Leo kind of dropped the ball at the end of the call last week, and you said it in a few different ways, but he basically asked the question, do you even like the opposite sex? Like, do you even like your partner? Do you even like women? Or do you even like men? Whoever you're dating, do you even like them? That's huge. Huge. Because so many people are trying to have relationships, live out these fantasy lives, and they don't even like the opposite sex in general. Like we all have all heard, mommy issues and daddy issues, stuff like that. But it goes much, much deeper than that. Um, and it shows up in so many different ways. Hey girl, I see you. Leo, can
Yep.
you can you bring us off that cliffhanger, take us from there?
Okay.
What you talking about? Do you like the opposite sex?
All right. So a lot of us judge our present and future partners based off of our past experiences. And some of us feel like we have been betrayed or hurt so badly, um, or maybe by so many people, or we've been hurt so badly by one person. And we like to apply negative connotations to every member of that gender. And a lot of times we may not even realize the hatred that we have, all right, for a particular sex, but it shows in our actions. And you know what? It all begins in the mind. You know what I mean? Our actions stem from our thoughts, and our thoughts come from what's in front of us, and what's behind us. So a lot of times it'll come out if you listen to people talk. A lot of times if you pay attention to what's being said, or if you pay attention to their experiences, you can feel some bitterness. You can feel that energy, and we carry that into our relationships, and we mistreat each other based
Right.
on a preconceived notion, and we don't even give credit to the individuality of our partner because we want to put them in a box, and that is a recipe for disaster.
That is so real. Oh my goodness. Um, man, look. Well, you speaking volumes right now, but it's really hard sometimes for people to see beyond the past. And it's hard enough, like if it was 30 minutes ago, to be like, okay, whatever, we moving on. But people take that 30 minutes and turn it into a day, a month, a year, 10 years, 20 years, and think because they've decided to move on to another person, another situationship, another marriage, create another family, whatever their coping mechanism was. They think because they decided to move on that that doesn't matter. That doesn't affect them. They're not making decisions. History. And living in the past is, well, that's what that is, living in the past. And that's something that just in my Ladyweight platform, I talk about so much drill because living in the moment is the only way to go. There is nothing else. There is nothing but the present. Yet we decide to make our past our present over and over and over again. And most people say, well, it's subconscious, you just get in the habit of things, I guess, as things start going, and now subconsciously you have recreated your past. But the truth is, if it's coming up at all, if it crosses your mind, if you react to something, if you have what we call PTSD, is real. I shouldn't have done that. If you have PTSD for certain things and you react, that means it's not subconscious. It is very much conscious. And you are adding momentum to that energy, to that feeling, whether it's negative or positive. If you're feeling it, it's not subconscious.
Yes.
Yeah.
And fortunately, all of these things tie in together that we talked about last week and that we'll talk about this week, because image is everything. And if we only see negativity, then that's what we will internalize. And by image, I mean what you see. That is the first language for a baby. That is the first language for a human being, for animals, since the beginning of time. It is what you see, is not actual words.
Mm-hmm.
You can actually learn things with no words at all based off of what you see. And it goes into the subconscious mind. Yes, the subconscious mind is unfiltered. That is the non-judgmental mind. But that's why we always have to consciously check ourselves and where we are. And as Lady Wake said, live in the present.
So, okay, let's take a beat. Because you mentioned the subconscious mind being unfiltered. And meaning, whatever comes in, it accepts. Another way to say that, the way I usually say it, whatever you pay attention to, whatever you give your attention to is this. So if you have stuff coming in, whatever it is, what you're seeing, what you're hearing, what you're thinking, because obviously what we see is just a portion of it, because we can override that because we're human beings. We're so powerful. We're way more powerful than we realize. But if we're not checking, if we don't know that yet, or don't remember that, I should say, and everything that comes in is just accepted as truth, then what?
And that's what we become. And to kick off this week, part 2 of our relationship series, I would like to introduce the next point, if we're ready. Lady Wake.
I don't know. Go ahead. Are we ready?
Which is the first point for this week, and the reason why our relationship failed is that it sounds simple, but listen, you have too much free time. Now, just because we go to work 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, it doesn't mean that's enough to fulfill our journey. It doesn't mean that's enough to fulfill yourself as a person. And the thing is, when we don't have anything going on outside of what we have to do to survive, then we're not developing. Okay? And when we have so much time left over at the end of the day, we start to depend on our partners for our entertainment. We start to depend on them for our self-esteem. We start to depend on them for our emotional needs, for our social needs, and for so much that they cannot provide for you because it's not possible. When you don't work on yourself, when you don't work on something that you actually do love, when you don't work on improving yourself, and when you don't work on your future, creating something for your family, for your children, etc., okay, then you're going to develop a self-hatred. You're going to develop impatience with yourself, and you're going to regret your time wasted. And the only way you know how to communicate that is to put it off on people that you love, the people closer to you. You're going to project that negativity and that insecurity because you're not happy inside.
So, man, look, and I would have said that differently, but it's the same idea. If you are not committed, and I used to say committed to something, but the truth is everything is not created equal. So if you're not committed to yourself, to your own happiness, and loving yourself is a very blanket way of saying it, because people have different ideas of what love is, you know. But if you're not happy in that, it's not love. If it doesn't feel good, it's not love. If you're not committed to making yourself happy, then you can't do any of those things. You're definitely not growing. You're not doing anything for you, or you're not doing anything significant enough for you. All the building, people have different ideas of what that means. So it's great. You got a business, you work in a job, whatever your thing is that you call building is fine in the material world. But if you're not doing that on the inside as well, you're losing because you're not happy, because you're not fulfilled. You're not pursuing your next level. And that's the whole point. And I didn't say to learn something. I said to be truly you, authentically you, over and over and over again, because we keep moving the target, because we're amazing.
Yes.
So,
And real quick, what I mean is when we're busy being productive, you're not going to have as much time to nitpick at your partner because people become really needy when they don't have things going on for themselves. So if you go to work at 9, come home 5, 6, okay, most people, if you don't have anything else going on for you, or as you say, work on yourself, your own happiness, then that's when you start to nitpick, and that's when you start to, where are you? That's when you start to thinking about the things that you don't like about your life, things you don't like about your relationship, and it tends to start fights. I find personally that when you have your own things going on, okay, then you can work on your schedules coming together more naturally instead of you just waiting around for your partner to be available for you. All right, you too will be busy being productive
yeah,
and you can come together when you can.
yeah. I do agree with that. And I also disagree because I know so many people who are crazy busy. Like they just always doing something, always moving. And it's not that they're just doing this one major thing, coming home and having free time. It's that they're doing one thing after another, after another, after another. And now the nitpicking starts because they don't have time to do the things they really want to do. And that's why I talked about making yourself happy for real. Just because you're busy don't mean you're doing anything that's worth really doing. But they don't have time to do the things they want to do. They don't have time to spend time with their family, with their partners. They don't have time to relax. They don't have time to think. They don't have time to even figure out what they want or what they want their next step to be. And it's like physically busy or not, your purpose, your why has to be about you. That's my thing. Whether you spend 5 hours watching TV, did you do that for you? Did you do that because you really wanted to? Did you do that because you're bored? Because if you did it because you're bored, now that's what I feel like you're talking about. Like that's what I take away from what you're saying. Like if you're bored, you need to find something to do because you can't rely on your partner to be your salvation, so to speak, to be your entertainment, to make sure that you're always happy. Am I getting that right?
Not exactly. I'm not speaking of boredom. We're actually saying the same things two different ways. I'm
Okay.
saying have things going on for yourself other than what you're doing for someone else, say a corporation, to build their empire. Have your own goals that you would like to accomplish and spend time working on that, which helps yourself. But I don't want to spend too much time on this because we have a lot to talk about.
No. So we got so much more to get to. Let me just say, and we will be here for some weeks, so we'll get through a lot. But this sometimes, and I don't like blanket statements or gender roles or things like that, but in general, people speak differently. People understand differently. And so that's one of the reasons I really wanted to have a male and female perspective in this forum, and why I chose my brother, because we know how to talk to each other. We can communicate for real. And like you just saw, I'm like, is this what you're saying or no? Because this is what I'm getting. And that's what happens a lot in the world. People are communicating surface level, and they're afraid to ask questions. They're afraid to be wrong. They're afraid to be authentic in their communication. And that is a huge problem in relationships, in all kind of relationships. It'd be simple misunderstandings because somebody communicates differently than somebody else or understands differently. You know, two sides of the same coin. I just want to throw that in there. Leo is apparently has a long list. He's geeked up. Let's get it. What's next?
I wouldn't say a long list, but I can get long-winded. Uh, so my next point is that, and remember we're talking about why our relationships don't work. So my next point is a little more on the serious side, and the next point is that our relationships don't work a lot of the times because we are afraid to let each other fly. In other words, we are afraid to allow and assist each other to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, this goes beyond romantic relationships, but this is what we're talking about at this point. A lot of times we will be on two different pages. In a lot of relationships, there's one person who is ambitious and there's another person who is not necessarily ambitious, meaning they have other plans outside of the relationship. They have personal, professional goals or things of that nature. And when we are not on the same page, we tend to try to pull the other person down. And some of it is conscious and some of it is subconscious. Yeah. But we tend to try to sneak diss each other. We tend to try to stop each other to take up the time that we know our partner needs to grow and to do what they need to do. And we spend a lot less time actually encouraging them. And, there's a saying going around, people support you more than when they don't know you. They support strangers more than they support people that they actually know. Mm.
I do have to set some time right here. It is not fair to move too quickly through this one. Because one, the truth is hard to take sometimes. And sometimes it takes some space, some introspection to see where you might be participating in something like this. Because when you bring up something that huge and that kind of I want to say wrong, there's no right or wrong, but that kind of insertion in somebody else's, life or on somebody else's goals or ideals, it's hard for somebody to say, yep. Sometimes it takes some time, some space, some introspection to say at any point, or maybe at some point in my life, in one of my relationships, whether it was romantic or otherwise, I have been this person where I know I've been in the way. I know I've been too needy, or I know I have been blocking, to be frank. Like, just because I didn't think it was smart what they were doing. I didn't think it was possible. A lot of times, just because one person doesn't think it's possible, they try to direct the other person somewhere else. Oh, that's not possible. You can't do that. So how about you try this? Or they're scared to lose, especially if you're in a committed partnership for a long time, or you have blended finances or whatever. They're scared to fail or lose out on something. So they're like, hey, how about we do this safe route, And so I think it is only fair to encourage you all to take some time and think about it. And it's not to beat yourself down. It's not to beat anybody else down, but it's to open up the conversation within yourself about what is happening for real what has happened, what is happening. What has happened is not as important. But if you know what has happened, you can know as it's happening again, or if it's happening again, or if you've moved past it, or where you see changes within you, within your partner. I'm not saying go and start talking mess to your partner about when they was blocking you, when they was hating on you. That's not what this is about. This is an inside job, as is everything else. You can only offer what you have. So if you're building yourself up and you're making sure that what you have inside is love, like as pure as possible, love. When people come at you sideways, all you have to offer is love. And so that's always my point. Me. Now, Leo, like I said, he's tougher, you know what I'm saying? So he might be like, yo, cut him off. Cut him, I don't know. But that's always my point, to build yourself up inside so you know what's going on. You know yourself, you know what areas you have to work on, you know what areas you're strong in, and it doesn't matter who comes along, who has something to say, who tries to break you down. You know the truth and you can act accordingly. And so, knowing something as serious and as deep as, in this situation, I am blocking my partner, I'm blocking this person I love, or even if you don't love them, because sometimes it be general situationships and blocking for the dumbest reasons. I say they're dumb because no reason is good enough to be in that place. However, real reasons. Sometimes they're real reasons. Blocking because I can't see it, Blocking because I'm jealous or because I'm not doing the things I need to do to propel myself. So instead of helping my partner get to the next place, I'm blocking. I'm not doing my job. Or if you've been in a position where you're doing everything you can to help your partner get to the next place and they're not being reciprocal, you need to see that too. You need to see all angles of it to know what to do next. Leo, what you got? We got some questions. I'm going to read this. Go ahead.
And yeah, I was just going to say real quick, and sometimes it's just that your partner doesn't want to see you ascend because they're afraid that if you ascend, then where does that leave them? Because
they think
they're going to find somebody better than me if I encourage you to go ahead and, get this degree or pursue this career or lose weight or get this surgery. I mean, there are a plethora of things that we could be talking about here, but a lot of times it's just that it's our low self-esteem where we think, well, if you take off and I'm still down here, then where does that leave me? So why should I help you? Why should I support you?
Joe. And for those of you out there, and all different people will see this and are seeing this right now, but so many times we talk about things like low self-esteem, and again, nobody wants to raise their hand, or they want to raise their hand about just very specific or stereotypical things, stereotypical ideas, or stereotypical events that point to low self-esteem. But if you are seeing yourself without this person because, or if you're not able to see yourself with this person as they grow, I should put it that way, that's because you don't think you can grow. That's still a level of low self-esteem. Now, some of y'all know my background, some of y'all don't, but look, one of those, no, that's not the proper term. I'm going to put it this way. Coming from the hood, when I decided to leave, you look back and you see people say, you changed, you think you're better than everybody, now you miss. Somebody told me the other day, do you ever speak of Ebonics? I was like, are you serious? Like, have you heard my country? Like, really? But for some people, that's what's important. And that to them means that you're doing something to them to make them stay where they are instead of them taking control over their own lives and minds and deciding to be whoever they want to be. Because what does me leaving the hood, going to college, have to do with you still being here? Nothing. That was my decision. That was your decision. And that happens every day in relationships. It could be the simplest thing. Like, look, we sleep to get in the same bed together. Do you like to get up early? I don't. Don't be mad at me because I'm sleeping 2 hours later than you will. Like, that seems so stupid, but it happens in real. These are real life examples. You mad at me because I'm still in bed and you up doing stuff. That's your problem, not mine. I made my decision. You made yours. Just.
Did you say we have some questions?
Janine said, "Do you think that's an equally yoked relationship where one person is really ambitious and the other one not so much?" And then she said, "Y'all addressed it." Did we address it, Janine? Because I'm not sure we did.
Could certainly be a longer time, of course.
You know what? That might be one of the things we don't see completely eye to eye on. Well, you know what? I shouldn't say that because perception is so strong in everything we do, and so that makes it difficult because I don't believe in equally yoked in the same way that many people believe in equally yoked. I tried that once in life and failed miserably. Like, like you have the same status, so to speak. You both maybe, make similar money and in whatever your career is, you have similar backgrounds or whatever, similar things right now, working towards similar goals.
No, that's coming up later, trust me.
Oh boy. Okay,
Have
looks
it
like
on.
we're gonna swing back around to it. I know for a fact that does not work. And everybody ambition looks different just because one person ambitious is running around doing everything and another person's ambition is meditating half the day and being introspective. Like, everybody's different, so that's tough. All right, Leo, he said we coming back to it, y'all, so let's go.
Yeah, I had it on the list for today if we have time. Um, but in order, um, I'm on to my next point. We ready for that, Lady Way?
We'll see.
Not trying to hog all the points here.
No, let's get it. I'm with you.
Okay, the next point in why our relationships fail or don't work is what I like to call we have a lot of false start relationships. False, FALSE, false start relationships. And those of you who watch football, that is a term, false start, meaning you started out of turn, you're going to be penalized, you have to go back and start over again. Okay, so a lot of us, we start off our relationships as a false start relationship, meaning it didn't really start naturally. A lot of relationships started out of circumstance. A lot of relationships, they come out of grief. A lot of come out of poverty. A lot of them come out of life changing events. A lot of them come out of, honestly, someone just waiting around, waiting
Yes.
to become available. They've never expressed their interest in you. They just figured, hey, I'm going to hang here, boyfriend after boyfriend, girlfriend after girlfriend, and I'm just going to wait for that perfect moment to strike, and maybe they'll like me then. And when we start, I don't want to confuse anybody or lose them. When we start off in an unnatural way, when our mind is altered at that moment, a lot of times later we start to realize that that wasn't really meant. It kind of happened because I was in this state of mind or in this emotional state, and it's like it was a perfect storm. But you look back and say, you know what, this isn't me. You know what I mean? And we do have some skilled individuals out there who know exactly when to strike, depending on the state that a person is in. I don't want to talk too much at once. What do you got?
Oh my goodness. I keep telling y'all he's the real deal. So, look, and basically what you just said in terms of us, things not happening naturally, and I still fully believe everything happens the way it's supposed to. So nothing is wrong, nothing is a mistake. But there is a difference between having a flow and having friction. And even though it doesn't look like friction at the time, if you're in a place where you are not completely yourself, so you're not living in your power, you're not honestly happy and present, you're dealing with grief, you're dealing with depression, you're going through major life changes, and you know you're not completely there. Maybe you don't know yet. Let's say you don't know yet. You're not completely there, but you figure you're going along, you're doing fine, and then you have these expert vultures out here, as Leonard so nicely put it, who feel your energy. And I keep telling y'all, everything is energy, and everything is brought to us by us. So, by the very basic law of attraction, even if we're on the outside looking amazing, smiling, talking like sunshine and rainbows, but on the inside, something is going on that makes us disconnected from our source, disconnected from who we really are. Something that makes us not happy, not here all the way here in this present moment, not seeing clearly, can't see like that. If something is happening on the inside, there are people out there who can feel that energy and they move in real quick and they pounce on you. And it don't matter what you look like on paper. It doesn't matter how equally yoked you think you are. It doesn't matter what it looks like they're offering or bringing to the table and all the things you have to bring to the table. Hey, you could be 100% match on paper. But in real life, if you're drawn together by something other than you being authentically connected to your source and them being authentically connected to their source, it's not right. It's not healthy. There's no right or wrong. It's not healthy. It's not smooth. It's not flowing. And the friction always leads to a burn.
And it'll come out eventually. And
Yeah.
a lot of times it could be something as simple as, your age. At different ages, we are different people, especially when we're really young. Um, and we keep going back to self-esteem. But even if there's a time period in your life where your self-esteem is not that good, you're really not that well. And as later on, when you become more confident, your esteem is higher, you are learning yourself more, you will start to choose different people. And the people that you chose when you were a different person, you wouldn't even think about it anymore. You would be like, no, I wouldn't even look at that person.
Yeah.
And it's also a form of a false start relationship. You were not you yet. And like you said, there's no right or wrong. This is how things happen. This is how they develop.
I love that false start relationship. I like it. I like it because there are a lot of false start relationships. You come together, it feels great at first, you bang around for a minute, and then you knock each other out the ring. Like, look, this isn't working. All the time. It happens all the time. I love it. False start relationships. So, and let's be clear that we're not saying there's anything wrong with false start relationships,
No.
because everybody has the option of doing whatever they want to do in whatever stage you're at. It's a matter of you doing what is best for you versus what is not in terms of your happiness. That's my thing. So let me back up a little bit though, because you mentioned age as an example. And I don't like to do that, not ever, because life experiences will mess up people's head, have you spinning, because you think because somebody's of a certain age, they should know better or they should know more. or they should know less, or they most likely know less. And so I always like to point out, look, it doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter what the age gap is, even when you're in a relationship, because I know 45-year-olds who act like 25-year-olds, and I know 25-year-olds who act like 45-year-olds. And all of that is stereotypical, of course. So I know 25-year-olds who are more mature than, I want to say average, but truly, the average 40-year-old, and vice versa. And I know some older people who are less mature than the average 30-year-old. And it's like, what do you make of that?
Well, was that a question for me? Oh,
It's a general
no.
question because I've made something of it already. This is my opinion, obviously. What do you make of that? You can't make decisions based on things that simple. There has to be a compilation, and that's really it. I just always stick up because ageism is live and real. You know what I'm saying? Just like a lot of other things. That's all. What's next, Leo? Janine talking about character.
You mentioned character. Oh, about
she was
age.
talking about she was talking about the relationships, having an equally yoked relationship. She was talking about character in terms of people being equally yoked. And to that, I would say yes. And character is tough because that's also pretty subjective. But if both people are determined to follow their truest guidance and are focused on making themselves happy and not expecting their partner to do that, I think there's a chance. That's what I would call character. Because the other way around is
True.
It doesn't work. What do you think, Leo?
Yes, that's all a part of the energy that you spoke of. Only you and that partner can decide if you're on the same level or not. That's more of a personal thing, or as you called it, subjective thing.
Mm-hmm.
And we're really not the judge of that. When something is off, something feels wrong, you have to acknowledge that and find out what it is that doesn't feel right. Even on the character side. Were you saying something?
Joe. Okay, we have to stop there because I can't, in my right mind, skip that part. I cannot. It will bother me all night. Because what he just said is, if it doesn't feel right, stop. I can't. Okay, look, we don't have a whole lot of time left. We've talked about if you like the opposite sex or not, or if you like your partner, whatever that sex is. There's some same-sex couples here too. So whatever that is, do you like them in general? Do you like men? Do you like women? We talked about false start relationships. I think we're going to have to end on this part, Leo. And I know your list is long and wide, but we'll be back next Monday. But I can't pass that up. I can't let myself pass that up. Okay, Jackson chimed in saying she loved my glass. So shout out to Whip Inc. Jacqueline Hill's company, catering and event planning company. This glass is wonderful. Somebody told me it was National Wine Day, but I ran out of wine, so I'm drinking rum. What do you do? Okay, we're back. So, if it doesn't feel right, or if something doesn't feel right, stop. That is so hard for people to do. Like, I think back to my relationships, some of them where I know, and it's not a hindsight thing. I knew then, I didn't know what exactly. In hindsight, I know exactly what it was, but then I knew something wasn't right. There was something that I needed to, I shouldn't even say get my attention to. Something I just needed to step back from, and let it play out differently. But something wasn't right. And I knew, how people say you see red flags, and everything isn't, like every red flag is not a deal breaker. I don't have many deal breakers at all, honestly. If I've decided to deal with somebody, but every red flag is not a deal breaker. But when we see one, what do we do?
Mm.
Don't, like, really, because let me tell you what I used to do. I'm a changed woman, but what I used to do is think back to, of course, other experiences and the things I've learned from other people. And the main thing I learned that I held on to, and this is in hindsight that I know I held on to it. The main thing was you cannot have everything you want from one person or within one relationship. There's a 80-20 rule, and that's what most people call it. Like you get 80% of the things you need, and the other 20 you just got to deal with. And that was something I really believed at the time. And so I would have to go through and think, like, is this something I can deal with or I want to deal with? Even though it's a red flag, it don't feel good right now. But now I have to think of it in terms of whether I want to deal with it or not. And I already know I'm gonna get some backlash about this because I said this before in my Ladyway forum and it makes people upset. Look, the 80-20 rule is a lie. Obviously, all of this is my opinion. You don't have to agree. This is my knowing for myself. It is a whole complete lie. And the foundation of that lie is that we need to get a certain level of fulfillment from our partner. That's the foundation of that lie. We don't need a partner to give us anything. So that 80% that you're looking for in another person, you should be looking for in yourself. That 20% that you're putting up with in your other person, you should be putting up with within yourself. That's that fear. That's that not wanting to take the next step. That's that not having enough faith type stuff. That's that beating yourself up when you feel like you've done something wrong, or when you fall, staying down there a few seconds too long. You know, you should just pop right back up and keep moving. That's how I think of it now. Like, forget your 80-20 rule. The truth is, I am who I am, and in whatever level of wholeness that is, because as I keep moving, as life happens, I change too, and who I am attracts a person who is as close to my vibration as possible. And together, we either decide to make it work by keeping ourselves happy and being respectful and loving and enjoying it. But if it's not fun, I quit. That's where I stand right now. If it's not fun, I quit. And everybody will say, everything's not fun. Life is not always fun. Look, if you want that to be your life, that's cool. But as far as me and mine, and I say me and mine because I do this for the future generations. I do this for my daughter first, because there's no way she can be whole and make good decisions and see what's possible without me first taking that leap and trying it. So I'm out here for that, for her, for little girls like her all over the world. And for me and mine, there's no such thing. It's only attraction. Joe, that's my rant. What you think?
Wow. Um, yeah, well, we started off talking about if something doesn't feel right, stop. And what I said was acknowledge that. And just as you were saying, it's something you have to acknowledge. Like you were saying, you don't have to quit, every time you see a red flag. Of course, depending on what it is. And personally, what I do is I just file it away and see, where else we're going. I keep moving forward in general, because like you said, everything is not a deal breaker necessarily. But I do happen to agree, if it is not fun, why are you there?
Yeah.
You're wasting your life, in my opinion.
Really.
You really are. And unfortunately, I see we're out of time. But if you're cool, I will introduce our next point for Monday.
Oh, what is that, Leo?
So our next point and reasons why our relationships don't work is that your life is governed by societal expectations.
Oh, Joe, it's gonna be so good. Oh my God, that's gonna be so good. I can't wait. Your life is governed by societal expectations. That is so real. Oh my goodness. Okay, we're gonna break that down on Monday.
Yeah,
God, why the
I
time
can't.
go by so fast?
It really did.
Yo, okay, Monday. So can we change our title now? Like keep getting in messed up relationships. He was extra hard day one. I was like, dang, Joe. Okay, your relationship is governed by societal
Societal
expectations
expectations.
or what we call societal norms. That ain't right. That ain't no. Oh, that's gonna be good. Yes, I'm so looking forward to that. So looking forward to that. Look, y'all, we are back here next Monday, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thank you all for tuning in. I see y'all. We're gonna come back around and respond to you on Facebook and on YouTube. We're right back here next Monday at 8 p.m. All you have to do, if you have never been to the Lady Wake page, go to Lady Wake on Facebook. You see the spelling here. Go to the Lady Wake page. If you can't find my face, it'll be my smiling face. You can type in the at symbol, Lady Wake 99. The number is 99, and it'll bring you right to me. Like the Lady Wake page so you can get notifications. And we have an event up. So if you like the Lady Wake page, I'll make sure you get on that Evite so that you can see us every week. All right, y'all. Feel free to send in your questions. You don't have to wait till Monday to ask questions. You can send in questions throughout the week, and we'll
Yeah,
make sure that we address things when we come
we would.
together in this forum. Yeah. Okay. All right, y'all. Until then, enjoy your week. Make sure you make a decision to love a little more just 'cause. Why not? You know what I'm saying? Leo, any
Oh
closing
yeah.
remarks? You already
Oh
set
man.
us up.
Yeah. And I can't wait. Thank everybody for joining. It's Monday already again, so next Monday will come by real fast.
Mhm.
And like she said, send all your questions. We'll be checking back throughout the week and comments, and we appreciate you guys joining.
Yes, indeed. All right, y'all. Until next time, peace and love.